These are the plaintiffs, Nicholas Webb and Nathaniel Cameron. They say they went to Hawaii to learn how to scuba dive, contracted with the defendant to teach them, paid her up front, and then were scammed. The advertisement said they had to have scuba gear when they arrived, so they bought the gear at home and were then told it had to be purchased from the defendant's scuba shop only. The ad never said that. They asked for their money back, were rebuffed, and here they are. They're suing for $1,666.66, the amount they were charged. This is the defendant, Paula Kirshner. She says the plaintiffs got the discounted rate for scuba lessons because it was understood they'd purchase a mask and snorkel from her shop. The reason they do this is because many people buy cheap inferior masks that leak. And when you go out into the ocean, that's the last thing you want, a leaky mask. Bottom line, there are no refunds because she was ready, willing, and able to scuba. She's accused of deep-sixing customers.
Political have sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Okay, Nicholas Webb and Nathaniel Cameron.
That's me.
Okay, you folks are suing Paula Kirshner and the dive company, we'll call it. You don't want to have the name of the dive company used, for $1,666.66 that you say was inappropriately charged to each of your credit cards, $833.33 each.
Right, correct.
For a dive trip in Hawaii that you didn't end up taking. Tell me what happened, gentlemen.
What happened was we planned a trip to Hawaii. My family was going the same week. We were college students, so we budgeted our time and money very carefully. We found this dive company that offered our ability to take the knowledge section online so we could take the textbook stuff at home and not have
You're talking about getting certified?
Yeah, to get certified.
Okay. So, because you weren't even certified?
Correct, we were not certified.
Okay.
And we really wanted to go on the Manta Ray night dive.
How deep were you going?
The Manta Ray night dive.
How deep were they going?
It's 35 feet.
35 feet, okay.
And so we found this course, and the website said, you pay Patty $120 to take the course, you buy your dive gear, then when you arrive at our dive shop, you can complete the course for $400.
Okay.
And we have a copy of the website, and it's dated.
Okay, so go on.
Okay. And so we took the course, we paid Patty, we bought our dive gear, then we arrived at the dive shop, and when we arrived at the dive shop, she said, oh, I meant you had to buy your dive gear from us.
Wait, that's when you arrive at the dive shop, is that the first thing that happens?
No, actually the first...
Tell me, I want to know exactly what happens and the order it happens in. Go ahead.
Well, we arrived at the dive shop. She sent us over to a different building. A guy named Nacho he left us in a room to take a test. We took the test. He came back. He said, yeah, you got the questions right. We went back over to the dive shop, and then...
So the dive shop is where they do the pool dives, which is the first thing that you do,
right,
just for dive safety stuff.
Right.
And so he was
where
preparing...
they see if you know how to use a tank and everything else in a pool so that you don't kill yourself. Go
yes.
ahead.
So he was preparing all the gear and getting everything ready. And Paula said to me, I noticed you brought your own gear.
Okay.
Well, we offer a discount program where if you purchase your gear from us, we subtract that from the cost of the course. And I thought, okay, I didn't know about a discount program, but we planned on spending $400 as the website says, so that's fine. And then we went and we did our pool dives. And then I had a leaky mask. And so Paula said, well, just pick out a mask since you didn't get the discount, I'll just give it to you. And so I went and I picked out a mask. And then I went back to the register where she was, and she handed me a receipt for $800.
And you thought that...
I thought that was for both of us, like
right,
a combined charge or something,
right?
Right? And then she handed him a receipt for $800. And so I didn't know what to do at that point, and
What
I was
did you
really
do?
confused. We stared at the receipts for a while, and we walked outside wondering what we were going to do about this. And
did you understand what had happened or no?
I wasn't...
I understood what happened, and I walked out without signing the receipts. And then I asked him, like, what should we do? Because should we get screwed and pay the extra $800 that way we can complete the night dive? We weren't quite sure what the website said. We wanted to go home and make sure that the website said what we thought it said.
So what happens? You go home, you go to the hotel.
Yeah, and this was like at 6 o'clock at night. So
right,
we go to the hotel, we look it up. It turns out that we did not make the mistake. So our dive was supposed to be at 7:30 in the morning. We tried calling ahead of time. Nobody answered. We went down. We said, look, we can't afford $800 a person to take this course.
And what did she say?
Well, that's when we talked to Nacho then. Then we went back to her, we talked to her, and she...
Wait, then you went back what? It's still before 7:30 in the morning?
No, we went to the warehouse, which is where we're supposed to meet our dive instructor to
Okay.
get to the boat. And then we went back to the dive shop where she was.
Okay.
And walked in, and I guess I spoke first with her, and I
What'd you
said
tell her?
I wasn't sure what she was charging us for because the website says the course is $400.
Right.
And she said, well, you're mistaken. The course is $800 minus the cost of gear that you purchase from us. And I said, well, pull up your website and let's take a look. And she did. And, you know, it's the same thing you have in front of you.
Which says payment to Patty, what does Patty stand for again?
It's the dive organization,
Right, but what does it stand for?
Professional Association of Dive Instructors.
Professional Association of Dive Instructors. Online is, and that's like basically the certification for divers, right?
Yeah,
Is
there's
there
a
another
couple.
one?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
NAUI and SSI.
I'm Patty. Okay. Which, of course, I have not seen depth in water since the birth of my first child. And frankly, I don't think I'd ever go. That's why I asked how deep it was, because I remember I did 100 and something feet night dives before I had a reason to live. And nowadays, I wouldn't do that for the world. I won't go past that. First of all, I won't go at all, apparently. But if I did, I wouldn't go past the point where I can jettison the faulty equipment and swim up. And the worst that's going to happen to me is some bends. That's, you know, I'm
Scared.
I am my mother. I'm becoming my mother. All right, payment to Patty Online is $120 for e-learning via secure online payment system. You will need to purchase your individual diving items, masks, fins, snorkel, booties, at a cost of approximately $350. Price depends on the gear you select. Then, when you arrive at our dive shop, you can complete your in-water training and purchase of your e-learning enhancement pack. So you folks interpreted this to mean go buy your dive stuff and then show up for the course, and it's $400.
Correct.
Okay. You are saying this is not what this says. What do you think this says?
I think it says that you take the course from Patty, you purchase your equipment from us.
But if you meant from us, I got a really easy way.
Yeah, you know what? I corrected the website after the incident.
What did you
with
correct
them.
it to? Do you have the
I do.
Let me see. You will need to purchase your individual diving items from our dive shop, Mass Fin Store, at a cost of approximately $350. Yeah, that actually says exactly what you intend for it to say, and there's no wiggle room here.
That's right.
But you see how there's a little wiggle room here. So now here we are, and we have a problem. Did you know that they had signed up for something that was $400?
I knew that they signed up for the course, which was $400, plus the purchase of equipment.
Plus, you
because
figured they were buying the equipment. Then when
Right.
you say to them, I noticed you bought your own equipment, what is it you say, comma? What else do you say?
I said, with that, the price of the course is $800 because you're not buying your equipment from our store. And they said, okay. And then they went out to the pool to take their training. When they came back from their training, which took 3 times as long as it should have taken because they had faulty equipment. And I told them, well, since you're paying full price for the course, go pick a mask that fits you properly. And all of our gear was dive quality gear, not gear that, you know, you could buy any place that you'll end up with a leaky mask. So
Right. How long have you owned the business? I know, I understand now that it's been transferred, but how
Yes.
long were you the owner of this business?
since 2004.
So, I don't know how long that was then. What, 8 years?
So it was
9
3 years.
Wait.
This was in 2007.
This was in 2007 that this
Right.
happened. And were you the sole owner?
No, it was family owned. So it was my husband, myself, and my son.
Was it a good business? Was it a lucrative business?
Yeah, it was fine.
Did you end up getting rid of it for any particular reason, or?
My husband got sick,
I'm sorry.
and we couldn't.
Does your son still run it or no?
No, we transferred.
You ended up selling the
it.
business.
Yeah.
Okay. I got to tell you, you seem like a really nice and honest lady, but I don't think that this is about niceness or honesty. It's about whether there's a meeting of the minds between you guys, whether
Well,
there's a real contract.
I have a couple of emails. We had several email exchanges before they got to the island.
Okay.
And I have every single one of them. I said to them, when you get to the island, you'll meet your instructor. I mean,
Let
I
me see,
explained
let
the
me see.
procedure.
Yeah. What'd you guys end up doing, by the way?
We found another dive company down the street which was willing to offer the same price.
Well, so far what I've got is a July email where they say, we've bought wetsuits here. Is it too hot to use in Hawaii? And you say, as part of your rental gear, we give you thinner wetsuits than the one you bought. That certainly doesn't help you. That gives you an idea that they're looking for, stuff over there. That doesn't hurt them because they're talking about rental, not buying stuff from you.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Congratulations, Nick. Heard you just completed the coursework online. We are looking forward to seeing you on August 7th for your class pool and open water training. Stop in at the store when you arrive and select your mask, fins, snorkel, and booties. What did you think that July... Who's Nick?
I'm Nick.
Okay, what did you think that July 19 email meant?
I was still going by what it said on the website. I thought that was, obviously they would encourage people to buy equipment from their dive shop because that's where they offer the training.
Sure.
So I didn't think it was a requirement for the course.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. Is it safe for guys who never scuba dived before, just boom, get certified, go scuba diving on vacation?
It would depend on the instructor whether or not they were certified through PADI.
So if you have a good instructor, can you safely go in the water?
Absolutely not. In my opinion, as an advanced diver, I would never take that kind of a chance with somebody that's unexperienced to go diving.
Okay, well, you know what? These guys survived the scuba diving. Will they survive the instructor going inside the courtroom?
I'm not seeing what you want me to see in those emails. If there's something I missed, tell me.
Well,
Or is that pretty much it?
I think that's it. I think that.
Okay. All right. As far as I'm concerned, when there's a misunderstanding of this magnitude, there is no meeting of the minds, which means that there is no contract, because you need to have a meeting of the minds for a contract. And if there's no meeting of the minds because someone's an idiot, that's one thing. They can't turn around and say, if it's plain as day and this is ridiculous, you knew what you were doing, you're just changing your mind now. Of course not. It's a breach of contract on their part. But when it's legitimately, then that's different. Now, in your case, it's actually worse because you're the drafter of the failure of the meeting of the minds. So it's clearly not their fault. And you know that it was vaguely worded and a problem because you did the right thing. And after that, you made it very clear that you must buy your dive gear at our shop in order to get this discount, which should have been there from the beginning. So I am going to order the return of, you ended up having to redo everything except for the PADI thing. So you did have the PADI thing, but the PADI money didn't go to you. That was money that was separate from the 400?
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
That was, so the 400 was just for, okay. So I'm going to order the return of the $833.33. And I understand that you guys, fought this at the credit card level. And I understand that you won at the credit card level. And actually, let me quote you exactly here because it's sort of cute. You know where I'm going, don't you? I thought it would be it after they lost the credit card disputes. I didn't think they could file after that, but I've learned otherwise. Hawaii judges are pretty straight up. I know they would just say, you lost with the credit card company and the bank, you have no case, you showed up, you took the course, you paid, you canceled in less than 48 hours, so go away and shut up. I know that's how I feel, at least. Judge Miliana is straight up, too, and I like that, so hopefully she agrees. They were like two cocky little kids, so it doesn't surprise me they would do this. Okay. As easy as it would be for judges to abdicate their responsibility to rule on a case to credit card companies, insurance adjusters, et cetera, that's not what we do. Credit card companies will often help you out. That's why I try to pay everything with credit cards, because often they'll side on the side of the credit card customer, and then you guys come to court and sue, and you end up being right. It's always an independent decision on my part about who's right, and I've ruled that they are right. Therefore, I'm ordering the return of $833 each to each of the plaintiffs. Good luck, folks.
So the language on buying at your store wasn't specific enough. No meeting of the minds.
No meeting of the minds.
Your feeling on the outcome here? You understand that?
Yeah, I understand it.
You good with this?
I'm fine with it.
You missed this having the store?
Yes.
Anything else you want to add?
No.
Okay, head right down this way. The one-word answers. All right, head right in here. Okay, which one's Beavis? You? Okay.
Yes.
What do you want to say about the outcome?
We thought the judge was very fair, and after 3 years, we're finally glad to have our money back. Because the students, almost $2,000 is a lot of money.
Yeah. Where do you go? What are you studying?
UC Hastings, UCLA.
UCLA. And what are you majoring in?
Law.
HIV virus stuff, virology, yeah.
Wow. Well, law, so you've won your first case.
Yes.
Excited about that?
I'm going to put it on my resume.
Big day.
All right.
So.
Congratulations. All right. Right down this way. Okay, let's get to Harvey.
Okay, Kurt, the thing is, when you draft a contract, if you're the one who actually writes it out, if there's any ambiguity in the contract, it's construed against you and most favorably for the person who didn't write it. And that will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case on the way into the courtroom right now.